Hello there, my name is Simon from CramTheExam and welcome to another video where I walk you through another English exam question. Today's question is a CAE Advanced Use of English Part 1 question, a multiple choice close, and this question you can find on the excellent website flojo.co.uk. If you haven't checked out Flojo, I recommend that you do. Plenty of fantastic resources to help you get ready for your CAE Advanced English exam and others as well. There's a link to the website in the video description below and of course to this exercise. So as I said, we're going to have a look at the multiple choice close, so let's go over a few basics. First of all, read through the text first. Get a good idea of context, find out what's going on, see who's involved, get the general idea, the general gist, the general idea of what the article is about. By reading all the way through to the end, you will be aware, hopefully, of exactly how everything fits together. And because if you don't do that and you answer a question straight away without reading what comes next, very often you might get that word wrong, particularly that answer wrong, particularly when the language before the gap and after the gap are vital in terms of working out what the correct answer is. So talking about correct answers, let's find out what the answers are. Is about the perfect posture, of which I don't have, so let me straighten myself up and see how long I can hold this. Bad posture normally starts in our teenage years when we slouch around. Slouching means to sit like I do with your shoulders rolled forwards. Slouch around with our something trying to look cool. Now, it says here the answer is mates. Mates is informal language for your, let's say, good friends. Acquaintances are just people that you know. You don't know, just people you know. You know that they exist. You've met them once, perhaps twice. You know who they are. You don't know if you've got any, whether you like them or don't like them. It's not important. Acquaintances is just people that you know. Colleagues, people that you work with. Counterparts are people in the same position as you in a different company or in a different firm or even in a different school. So, for example, as a language teacher, I have a counterpart in another language school, and as a businessman, I might have a counterpart in a competing business. So the only one that really fits the context in terms of looking cool is mates, which is why it's the answer. But hands up those who now while away their days, the expression to while away your days means to spend your time, sitting in front of a computer where it's something too easy to neglect something as essential as good posture. Keyword here is to, because not all of the answers work with to. So we can't say so too easy. We can say so easy, but not so too easy. Really too easy? We can say really too easy. All too easy? We can. It's an expression. Rather too easy doesn't work. So which one's it going to be? Is it going to be B or C? The answer is C. All too easy is an expression which basically is an emphatic form of saying something is easy. Or it's very easy to do. So it's all too easy, very, very easy to neglect something as essential as good posture. Let me move up the questions and let's move that up as well. As we grow older, these poor something are exacerbated. In other words, made bigger, made worse. It depends on the context. It's a wonderful piece of vocabulary, a nightmare to spell, but if you can take this away and use it, then I recommend that you do so in your writing and in your speaking. Now, what is our answer? Is it going to be customs, habits, rituals, or practices? Given the context, we are talking about individuals. We're not talking about groups. Sure, we're talking about behaviours. No discussion there. There's definitely talk about behaviours, but it's important to know from the context how many people we're talking about. Because if we're talking about groups, lots and lots of people, then we could think about customs, rituals, or practices because these affect groups and groups of people. Whereas habits is a lot more personal, a lot more individual. And this article is rather talking to you. So that's why the answer in this case is habit. But by taking action immediately, we can not only look and feel better, but protect our body for the future. Make sure you sleep on a firm means quite hard, firm mattress at night. Now, this sentence with number 3 is important because in this sentence we've got a second clause, and it is a contrast because instead introduces a contrast of some kind. So what this is trying to say is, don't lie flat on your back. Instead, try doing something else. So we need to choose a word which means the same as don't do something. And if we have a look at our answers, evade just means run away. Clearly doesn't make any sense here. Prevent and restrain need a reflexive pronoun. So prevent yourself, restrain yourself. And of course, that language is missing. So the only answer here is avoid. Avoid plus gerund. Avoid lying flat on your back. Instead, try sleeping in a curled position on your side. The something revival in platform shoes doesn't help. If there's a revival, it means that something has come back into fashion, and the context of this article suggests that it's back in fashion now, not recently in the past, but now. And that helps us choose between these two answers here, contemporary and current. Contemporary means the recent past, whereas current means now, and that's why it is our answer. So the current revival in platform shoes doesn't help, and wearing shoes with heels more than several centimetres high is just asking for what? Here we've got an expression. You're basically saying you're going to give yourself difficulties if you do this, and the expression that we need is asking for trouble. And this is very often used as a warning. So, for example, I might say, you're asking for trouble if you do X, Y, Z. So if you're not familiar with that expression, asking for trouble, then this is definitely one to put away in your vocabulary bank and use it in the speaking exam and in the writing exam if you can. There was something else I wanted to say here. Several, yes. In English, there are a couple of ways that we can talk about indeterminate amounts of numbers. Obviously, you know a lot of them already. So few, some, several, tens, dozens, hundreds, thousands, etc., etc. So make sure that you're familiar with that vocabulary as well. Okay, so let's have a look at number 6. Don't load everything into a bag that you wear. Let me just scroll that up. Don't load everything into a bag that you wear on one shoulder, or you'll end up lopsided. Lopsided means that something's bent to one side. So it's not even, but rather one side is down and the other side is up. Number 6, the weight evenly by wearing a rucksack or even a bag around your waist. So the idea of this sentence is that you put a little bit of the weight here, you put a little bit of the weight there, so you are even, not lopsided. So we need to choose the correct verb which communicates this idea. Now, spread the weight evenly would be the obvious answer, but it's not one of the options that we've got here. So we've got to find the vocabulary, the verb, which means put a little bit here, put a little bit there. And the answer in this case is distribute. To distribute something evenly. Now, you circulate means making something go round and round. Disseminate means give out, in effect. So you disseminate information, you pass out or you tell people information, spread out information. Whereas sharing, sharing means giving everyone a bit of everything. So if you had a cake, for example, you would share it. But so you wouldn't necessarily say share the weight between your shoulders. Doesn't really make sense. Whereas distributing, putting something here, putting something there, does make sense. When you get home from a day's studying or work, it's all to what? To slump on the sofa in front of the telly. The context of this says that it is easy. This is something that you want to do. But of course the context suggests that you shouldn't do it. So we need to find vocabulary, an adjective, which means the same as something that you want to do, given the language structure before the gap, which is it's all too. Now, we can't say it's all too enticing, because enticing is an adjective, which means that you want to do something. It's calling you to do it. But because of that structure, we can't use it. So the answer that we've got to choose in that case is tempting. So if something is tempting, very, very synonymous with enticing, but it does work with this language structure. To slump on the sofa in front of the telly. Sitting in this way may feel comfortable, but it prevents you from breathing properly. And then we've got the last question here. Try to sit something with the stomach pulled firmly in. Now, what kind of word do we need here? What we need here is an adverb, because this adverb modifies this verb to sit. And if we have a look at the answers, there are 3 adjectives, but 1 adverb. And this adverb can be an adjective as well. So, but which of these adjectives is the only adverb? It is upright. Try to sit. You can't say levelly. It doesn't. You can't say that. Try to sit in a level position. It doesn't make sense. Try to sit erectly. Doesn't make sense. Try to sit vertically. Doesn't make sense. Try to sit upright is the correct answer. And of course, we are just giving you the adverbs there to as if the answers were adverbs, but of course they're not, they're adjectives, and we can't change the answers in that way. So the only answer that's correct in this context, in this question, is D, which is upright. And there we go. That's why the answers, at least in my opinion, are the answers. If you had any difficulty or would like me following me, or would like me to explain in any more detail, please leave a comment below. And if you disagree with anything that I said about any of my explanations at all, then please let me know. I'd love to have the discussion with you and find out what different people think. And if you're doing preparation for the CAE advanced exam, then check out my YouTube channel. I've got plenty more exam questions which are available online. I've done videos just like this for those exam questions, so check out my YouTube channel and you'll get a chance to practice a lot more. See you again soon.